Welcome to the John Justice Show. Remember, you can listen to my live show Monday through Friday, 6 until 9 a.m. Central Time on the iHeartRadio app. Just search for Twin Cities News Talk, KTLK, or John J.O.N. Justice on iHeartRadio to, again, listen live Monday through Friday. Or you can catch up on the podcast available on iHeartRadio.com, on the app, on the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, wherever you go and listen to podcasts. If you're enjoying this addition to my weekly radio show on YouTube, I hope you'll hit that alarm button so you never miss an episode and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you're listening to the podcast as well, I hope you'll go and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss this addition to my weekly radio show where I talk about news, pop culture, commentary, politics. Today, I want to talk briefly about the Disney actress that simply cannot get out of her own way, Rachel Zegler. Now, you might remember that a few years back when Disney announced that they would be creating a live-action version of Snow White, Rachel Zegler, in public interviews while doing promotion for other projects, talking about the live-action remake of Snow White, mentioned how the new version wouldn't be like the old version. And the old version was weird because of how long ago it was made, and it no longer fits with modern times. And this new updated version of Snow White wouldn't have the lead character of Snow White falling in love with the prince. No, she would be forging her own path, finding her way to be a leader that her father wanted her to be. And listen, whatever, that's cool. If that's the route that Disney wants to go, the public will go and decide whether or not they want to see this more woke retelling of that Disney classic, of which, in my opinion, there is no problem whatsoever. It's a classic. It's been a classic ever since it was released those many decades ago for that very reason, is that it's just great, fantastic, romantic storytelling. Now, unfortunately for Rachel Zegler, she simply cannot get out of her own way. There was other controversy relating to the live-action Snow White remake when it comes to the dwarves being cast by actors that could have gone to roles to individuals that would have more fit the character of dwarves, and now they've turned them into CGI characters. Whatever. I'm actually a fan of Rachel Zegler, to be honest with you. I typically don't go and let the politics of actors and actresses affect my enjoyment of a particular product unless it's inundated with a lot of woke content, in which case I just simply won't watch it. If I did allow myself to be offended or annoyed and not watch a particular project because of an actor or actress's political leanings, I probably wouldn't be able to enjoy the vast majority of the content that I do, including my beloved Star Wars, because Mark Hamill is a far leftist. And, you know, that being said, there goes my beloved original trilogy along with the Disney content they've created, a lot of which I've really enjoyed. That being said, Rachel Zegler stepped in it again last week. Like so many other individuals who irrationally started lashing out and freaking out over the wake of Trump's victory in the election. Too many individuals go and base their happiness off of who is sitting in a position of power, and it's incredibly unfortunate. So in a series of posts on Instagram, Rachel Zegler initially wrote, and these have been screenshotted and saved because nothing is gone forever on the internet, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace, calling it absolutely terrifying the number of people who stood behind Trump. I shouldn't be shocked by this, but I am," she added. "I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke in fear this morning. This loss should not have been by so many votes." And listen, that was the referendum in this whole thing and what's taken the wind out of the Democrats' sails in attempting to go and challenge the results of this election. Oh, sure, there are individuals that are out there making TikTok videos saying that, "Don't worry, guys, Kamala has been quiet lately because secretly there's going to be a recount. There's a plan underway." Suddenly now the left is doing what they claim so many of people on the right, which they did when it comes to conspiracy theories and things like QAnon. Now we have KAnon, right? Rachel Zegler just kind of fell into that category and lashing out and making those comments. The difference is that this is an actress who is trying to forge her way in Hollywood and unfortunately has been indoctrinated by our public school system and our university system and has adopted these far left Marxist ideologies and beliefs and perpetuates these narratives of down with the patriarchy. Well, she stepped in it this time and Disney has now stepped up and basically my opinion of what took place forced her to apologize, and I'll expand upon that more in just a bit. In a brand new post, this is what Rachel Zegler had to say. Hi everyone, I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post I shared on my Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding, and I am sorry I contributed to the negative discourse. This week has been an emotional one for many of us, but I firmly believe that everyone has the right to their own opinion, even when it differs from my own. I am committed to contributing positively toward a better tomorrow. I don't believe a word of it. She meant what she said last week. Listen, I understand why she's going and posting this apology. I completely and totally get that. But she meant what she said last week, and that's okay. She's entitled to her opinion. I understand why Disney went and wanted her to go and apologize. I have no evidence that that took place, but that's my guess. I suppose it's possible. She could have gone and come to the light in all of this. I suppose that that is a genuine possibility. My guess is, though, Disney probably said, hey, listen, we've already got enough problems with this live-action Snow White remake, and because of that, unfortunately, I think you should probably go out there and apologize. But I legitimately think that she meant what she said last week. And the public can go and decide whether or not they want to go and frequent her projects and watch her projects. Again, I like Rachel Zegler. I thought The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was a fantastic Hunger Games prequel, and largely because she was great in it. But this is the world that we live in right now. And I don't think for a second, and again, it's just my opinion, that Rachel Zegler really means what she says in this apology. She's just having to go through the emotions because there are dollars attached to her name. You know, it's unfortunate, and I go back to this example all the time when it comes to Gina Carano. It's incredibly unfortunate that here you have an individual who Disney was more than happy to cast aside, who was a fantastic character in the Mando series because of her expressing her view and opinion online, which really wasn't all that offensive, right? But yet they were able to do that because she was a secondary character and they can write her out. With Rachel Zegler, it's a little bit more difficult because they're trying to turn her into a bona fide, superstar in Hollywood. And so now she has to navigate these waters of controversy, and she's given a free pass where so many other individuals aren't. Listen, I wish her nothing but the best of luck, but I just find it absolutely comical because at the end of the day, you don't go and make those types of comments if you don't mean it, right? If that's what you really feel, if you're willing to go and put that out online, especially knowing the amount of attention that you're going to get because you've already received attention in the public because of comments that you've made in the past, being an actress that got you in trouble, then yeah, she knew exactly what she was doing when she posted that online yesterday. It'll be interesting to see at the end of the day what this live-action Disney remake of Snow White ends up being and how successful it is. I don't think it's going to be very successful, but we'll see how it shakes out. And I wish Rachel Zegler nothing but the best of luck. I have a folder that I keep Blu-rays in of movies that I want to watch soon. That way I don't have to go searching through my movie collection, which you can see behind me here. And in there is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so I will enjoy that movie just as much as I have before when I go and watch it again, because that's just what I do. I will chuckle to myself briefly while she's on screen because of what's transpired in the public, and hopefully she'll wake up to the reality that the party that she aligns with has been lying to her and has duped her, especially during this past campaign, because she, like so many other individuals, has succumbed to this argument that there's a threat to democracy in place and that Trump is the second coming of bad people from the past, and I'm afraid to go and make the comments here on YouTube because I don't want them to strip my video or demonetize it. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like Star Wars, right? I wrote a science fiction space opera series. You can see the poster in the background here. It's called Embark. And listen, I wrote it as a conservative. I wrote it as a bit of a reaction to what was taking place since Disney went and purchased Lucasfilm and what's happened with some of the content that they've created, where they've injected some of this woke nonsense into it. I'm just a fan of science fiction and a massive fan of George Lucas. So I wrote a 7-book science fiction space opera series. It's based on Earth because to do anything otherwise, you're just sort of copying what George Lucas did. So I set it in the year 2172, where air and space flight culture has replaced car culture. It's got some romance among the lead protagonists of the characters. The first book is basically about an industrial apocalypse on the face of the planet, forcing all of humanity to head out into deep space to colonize distant worlds, and during which an enemy arises to challenge our heroes in the story. Again, if you like science fiction, and especially if you're a conservative and looking for some conservative science fiction content, because there's not a lot out there, head on over to Amazon.com and check out my science fiction space opera series, Embark. As I mentioned, 7 books in all in the series, available in ebook, Kindle Unlimited, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook as well. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are, that you're happy, that you're healthy, that you're safe, and God bless. And I'll have another episode coming up very soon. Until then, have a great one, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.